The third reading is from the book of John, chapter 19, verses 26 and 27. He said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." To me, this passage is not so much about Jesus as our Savior, but is more about his priorities in relationships and love. The people involved are Jesus, his mother Mary, and his disciple, unnamed but referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved. All three are grieving, but not necessarily in the same way. As we grow as human beings, we learn a lot about love. People who are expecting a baby are always told that their lives will never be the same after the baby is born. I think that most of the time they mean no sleep, dirty diapers, etc. But when our daughter and son-in-law were expecting their first child, when I told them that their lives would never be the same, I meant that they would know a love that they had never known before. A powerful, fiercely protective, almost overwhelming love. A love that would cause them to be willing to lay down their lives for this person, even when their child is an adult or on his own. This is the love that Mary had for her son Jesus, and she would have never wanted to see him suffer. I'm sure that if she could have been the one flogged and crucified instead of him, she would have done it in a second. It must have about killed her to watch his painful death. And then there was Jesus' suffering, not just the tremendous physical suffering, but the psychological pain he felt as he watched Mary watch him die. Wendell often comments on how many of us in our congregation have parents who are getting older, and until my mom died in 2016, I was one of them. When we're young, most of us try to break away from our parents' protection and don't think of our parents as people we have to worry about. But as my mom aged, I became much more aware of how much I wanted to make sure that she was okay and never in need of anything. I won't call it a role reversal, but more of a role expansion on my part, to be able to see that I had responsibilities to my mom, and that if something should happen to me and my sister-in-law, she wouldn't be protected. We were always very concerned about her, and I think Jesus felt this way about his mother. We tend to think of Mary as the young girl in the Christmas pageant, but by the time Jesus was crucified, she had to be in her mid-40s to maybe 50, and she was living in a patriarchal society. Was she a widow? We don't hear much about Joseph at this time. Some people believe that Jesus had brothers. Wouldn't they have taken care of her? I don't know, but maybe Jesus felt that she needed protection, and the disciple whom he loved the most could be trusted to do the job. Another way to look at this is that maybe Jesus' intention was simply for Mary and the disciple to rely on each other for emotional comfort in their grief, in the way that a mother and a son would bond together. At any rate, these were two people who loved Jesus the most and were loved by Jesus the most, and even in his suffering, his concerns were about them. And as Jesus said, the most important commandment is to love one another.